Hello, welcome back to me solving a day 3. Um, I before I'm gonna show the solution. I'm gonna show how I download my input. Because there's a bunch of people asking for that. However, there is a timestamp in the comments. If you want to actually see me solving, you can just skip that. Um, let's go. So this is the command I use essentially. It's all on one line, though I not put in multiple lines, so it's actually readable. So I start with a sleep 15. Um, yes, sleep 15. So I run it at 10 seconds before. So like this is right about when I'm gonna actually run it. Sleep 15. So that's 5 seconds after the day has started. After my page has loaded. So I guess kind of to minimize traffic. Like on my PC. I don't know. I just wait 15 seconds. I don't want to like 10 seconds. That's like right on the dot because like if then I ran it like a little bit too soon by accident, and it's annoying. Like now, I just give myself a bit of safety margin. I use curl, and I just get the cookie and get the file and put it in the file where it's supposed to be. This is also the file that is open on my second screen. There's a few more things here. This is actually hasn't ever run on the day itself yet because while recording the recording for day 1, I noticed briefly, well, actually before recording, while watching my own recording just beforehand, I noticed there's one uh, uh, Reddit title. Because I still was recording when I finished the day and went to Reddit to go to the solution, uh, the mega thread solution, a solution mega thread. I noticed this in the recording. So I changed my thing to now include a user agent. I think this is the user agent that's normally sent by curl. So I kind of just add my name behind it. This is, by the way, my Mastodon. Anyone wants to contact me for or like follow me for stuff. I also include my email address. Kind of just protect it, just like Cistern. Just a bit more privacy, you know. If you really want it, you can quite easily find it online somewhere. I think. Still want to showcase it off in the wilderness. And then I have like this extra command because I don't know if this is still an issue, but because this file is now being modified outside of IntelliJ, I had problems in the past where it actually didn't copy it over to the place where it actually runs the code. So I manually copy it there in case IntelliJ forgets. I don't know if it's still an issue. It used to be an issue one time, so since then I always make sure I do. Yes, so we can now work the code. I'm again gonna show everything as it happens with my own voice at the time. I talked enough, I think, for it to be interesting. And afterwards, I will, yeah, give some explanation about the code and yeah, some improvements I made afterwards. So here we go. One out of command started. We're ready to go. Rucksacks, large compartments, too large. Well, yeah, it's only 606 rucksacks. Is it in half? Okay. Every type converted to a priority. What is the sum of priorities of those items? Find an item that appears in both compartments of each. Priority of the item that appears in both compartments of each. Oh, okay. dot e dot map it dot no, I don't think it's chunked it dot size divided by 2 dot is it sum of a comma b, where a dot to set dot intersects b set dot fall b, and then when if b in a to set to p minus 1, else b minus a plus 27 dot iterator dot next dot log run. Submit. Yes, but slow. Fetch is the only item by all 3 else. You float out of the rec 69. Whatever. In each group. What? Such okay. Dot chunk chunked 3 dot intersect c dot sets. I'm confused. Is this it? Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was it. Did pretty well, in my opinion. Yeah. Let me actually show you one more thing. I do realize a little bit later. I don't kind of want to. I'm gonna have to watch the recording. I have no idea why it's so much time. Part 1. 10 seconds. What? Yeah, anyway, I thought that was something I should still include. My reaction to it being only 10 seconds was kind of really ridiculous. For those that don't know how someone managed 10 seconds, it's because they used an AI to solve it. Yeah, let's go over some stuff. So first, I feel like this one was actually written not as well as usually. I can't really see why. Like one of the things is like it felt like stuff was repeated too much or something. Like it's okay. Like compartment is highlighted like too large. One would have been like I feel like too large should also have been highlighted. Also the fact that, like the sentence. I don't speak English natively. I don't know if that's why, but like it almost felt like there's kind of like something gave me the impression suddenly that I actually was supposed to like find the item that was common in all compartments across all rucksacks, which kind of felt like it didn't make sense. And then I think rereading it isn't ambiguous. I think like there's something in here that kind of made me think it is. And I don't know why. And part two, um, yeah, I think the fact that it didn't feel like it was explicit enough how the three L's were defined. I think yeah, I, I managed to solve it. I suppose it's good enough. Like it felt not as well polished as I feel like is common with most of them. But yeah, let's actually go over my answers. I'm just gonna do it here. Um, yeah, so we get the lines, and we make it in each string into a list of characters because it was all about characters. Uh, looking, I think it actually doesn't matter. I think I can actually literally remove this and compiles. It seems like it's fine. Oh no, size, right? It becomes a length if you use string instead. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Still, like whenever it's like strings, I don't do. There's two things I can do with a string usually. Well, actually three things. A is parsing it to an integer. B is splitting it into chars, like every char individually is important. Or C um, is matching and like actually equality checking, which is useful for like when there's assembly or stuff you have to interpret. Um, yeah, it's like if I need just individual characters, I almost immediately use E. Uh, Sometimes I actually don't need it; it still compiles without it. Sometimes it's like a small change, like I just prefer it because it's just a bit better. I actually also have functions that do the reverse that join the string together quite easily. Anyway, yeah, then I actually paused a while because part of me was not sure whether or not there was a function to split a string in an interval into n equal parts instead of equal parts of size n. And then I actually had to like still think about like wait, I was like you can actually hear like I was not sure that this was 100% correct. Like it kind of felt the inverse way of how I want to do it. Yeah, then yeah, the rest is like yeah. So so for each of the rucksacks, we grabbed the two compartments, we split it in, we convert them to a set, each to a set, and take the intersection. And then I want to get the single item that's in the intersection, so I did that by using iterator and then calling dot next on it. Um, yeah, yeah, and then we check if the characters in the range. In the lowercase letters, then we use this formula. Otherwise, we use another formula with a where we start at 27 instead of at 1. Part 2, instead of mapping each into two chunks, we just chunk our rucksacks into groups of 3. And then for each rucksack, we again take the intersection, grab the first and the only item, and do stuff. I think that's it about nothing really special. There are a bunch of improvements, however, that can be done with these two. So let's go to those. Um, there's a lot of stuff because there's code improvements to inside the sum of and outside the sum of, and so it's kind of got these product that I'm displaying. But like, let's go. This is just the same as we have. So for one improvement I could have done is using first instead of iterator.next. I don't know why I forgot that this exists. I think part of me thought it's only applied to lists, but it's actually something that applies to all iterables. So it's essentially literally what I did, but uh, yeah. As you see, there is a list of first specifically. Um, yeah, so the reason, like, I don't blame myself for not for forgetting that it exists. The other way, other improvement we can do is just not calling to set. Intersection is actually defined on iterables. Again, not on iterables, not on sets. So I could have done this. This would have probably, if I had realized that intersect, I would have known intersect, and I would remember the first. This would have been what I would have typed. The rest is different. We have A to sets and B to sets. Like if I still do them to sets, I have a multiplication defined to take the intersection. I knew this while typing this, but I also knew that I would have to add additional brackets while typing, so I felt like it would be not as good. Then another thing we could have done is use A and then find it in B. Again, because these are lists now, actually, these are lists, we can use in, because list is a collection and in is defined on collections. The other option is single, because for find it actually returns a null version. Single will assert that it's always exists, and will actually throw if there's multiple, which is actually one of the things. I wasn't actually, for part 2, I was not sure that I actually understood it correctly, and I kind of was tempting to make like an to add the following, require its dot size equals 1. But like I felt like typing that was gonna waste too much time, and I was relatively sure, so I didn't do it. But yeah, single kind of has that built in. So again, I could also have done single here, single here, single here. It's they're both defined as with predicates. It's both defined with the predicate and as a actual function. This part stay consistent. I don't think there's a better way to do this. So second improvement, I implemented a split in function. I don't know. I feel like it's not going to be useful anymore this year. Maybe next year or like 2 years. I don't know if I will still be doing additive code, but it exists just in case. It does assert that the size is a multiple. Yeah, if the size wouldn't be multiple and just positive chunked, the last split would be like much shorter, which feels very unintuitive to me. If I were to like support another size, I would most likely and maybe call it like soft split, as like split but don't throw, essentially. So soft split, and like then actually calculate like and make like like make the size difference at most 1. So if there's like um 15 elements, and I want to split them into, no, if they're into 4. No, wait, if there's 11, no, wait, if there are 12 elements, no, I'm 14 elements split into 4. If I were to use chunked, the first 3 would all be 4, and the last one would be 2. But what I would like have a soft split would ideally have 4, 4, 3, 3, right? But yeah, using that, we can make this shorter, and then these are just all the same. Again, it's nothing special about this. Then there's another one other option I did, because sum of is essentially mapping and then sum. So it's mapping and mapping again. So if you like put the map, merge those two maps together, you kind of get this. You get the line, and you split it into A and B, which is here, and then right, you then can like it's this. I don't think I would ever use this while doing the itself. I think I usually the allocations really don't matter in advanced code. I've I've noticed. I don't think I really ever had an issue with too many allocations. If I have, I've encountered a few memory errors, out of memory errors, which most of the time are actually because my array list is too long. But sometimes I think it also happened once due to allocations. Then it's an algorithmic problem. It's not because I'm allocating a lot. It's because like almost all my allocations are short-lived unless I'm doing like path finding. And if I'm doing something wrong with path finding, that's the moments I can encounter um yeah encounter memory errors. Yeah, I then added another neat function called intersect, which is defined as a reduce operation of I have a union that does unions and intersect that does all intersects. Yeah, and additional to set, because this is always going to already return a set, but because it's a reduce, it's going to return interval. Except I can't cast it to a set, because if there's only a single item in this outer iterable, then it's not going to call this predicate at all, and it would actually return the original iterable, which might not be a set. So I'm just going to set. Yes, if it always allocates a new set. Um, Again, you really allocations and like the slowness of allocating and like initializing the set with this stuff, it really doesn't matter. It's microseconds wasted, and that's not really the bottleneck. Yeah, let's go back here. It makes this go quite short. The longest part is converting the letter into its priority. And the same happens. The second part is again intersects like improvements. I can again only just use multiply. I can filter and then use single against single with an AND operation. It's all the same essentially. Again, I can also use chunked, and this is also a neat thing. Um, there's a short like you can do chunk and then map, but you can also immediately map itself. There's one thing important when you do this. It is now a list of the chunks. This is essentially a chunk. That list does not gets mutated between each call. So um, if I like have dot map, right? If I just dot map here, right? I can insert a map. It doesn't do anything, right? But if I remove this map, now it's an issue. Now because this is now it's just gonna return a list, but like it's always the same list. So this would not work. Um, yeah. Right. Let's remove this map again. Yeah. I feel like intersect is more likely to be useful to make a split in than uh, like either intersect or the union operator I made. Um, Actually, union. This is one way to do it. The other way would be, I think, if I haven't had a union, if I wouldn't have union, and I would have to like essentially do a union operation, like this, I would have probably gone to just do a flatten operation. Um, if they're listed, at least the input, and then just call to set or distinct. But it's nice to have union. Yes. I think that's everything I want to say. Um, Again, if there are any questions, feel free to ask them on any Discord I'm in or in DMs. I'm also gonna put my socials in the descriptions. You can ask me Mastodon, like I already showed you. Again, will be in the description. Ask in the description in the comments themselves. I will try to respond to any questions or comments you guys have, suggestions for improvements and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys later.